We all tend to take the path of least resistance, right? It's just human nature. But have you ever stopped to think about what that really means for a business? Today, we're going to dig into convenience, not just as some nice feature to have, but as a super powerful and often hidden driver of a company's total value. So let's dive in.
All right, let's kick things off with a really fundamental question. I want you to forget about the buildings, the inventory, the patents for a second. When you boil it all down, what is the single most valuable asset any company has?
Yep, you guessed it. It's the customers. I mean, think about it. They're the only source of cash flow, both right now and in the future. Without customers, every other asset a company owns is pretty much worthless. They aren't just a part of the business, they are the business.
And there's actually a formal term for this total value. It's called customer equity. This isn't just about last quarter's sales numbers. It's a forward-looking measure. It's about the future worth of your entire customer base. Honestly, it's the ultimate report card for a company's long-term health.
So, how do we build this incredibly crucial asset? Well, it turns out that customer equity isn't just this one big single thing. It actually stands on three very distinct pillars.
Yep, 3. That's the magic number here. The entire value of a customer base is built on just 3 core drivers. So let's break down what those are.
Okay, so here they are. First up, you've got value equity, which is all about the rational, logical side of a purchase. Then there's brand equity, which covers all the feelings and the brand's reputation. And finally, you have relationship equity, which is all about the strength of that ongoing bond with the customer.
Now, I love this comparison because it really breaks it down simply. Think of value equity as the head. It's your customer's logical, objective judgment call. Is this product actually worth the price? Brand equity, on the other hand, is the heart. That's all the subjective, emotional stuff, how a customer feels about the brand. For today, we're going to focus squarely on the head, on value equity.
All right, so let's zoom in on that a bit. See, value equity is this constant calculation that's happening in your customer's mind, a lot of the time without them even realizing it.
And the source material really puts it perfectly. Value is all about perception. It's a trade-off, right? It's what am I willing to give up in order to get what I want?
Okay, let's actually break that down. So on one side of the scale, you've got all the benefits, the product itself, the experience of buying it and using it, the problem it solves for you. But, and this is so important, on the other side, you have the sacrifices. And it's not just about the price tag. It's also the time and effort you spend searching, and even the psychological cost, the stress and the worry.
And that right there, that brings us to the main event for today. Because a huge, huge piece of that sacrifice column is something we're all looking for, and that's convenience. So yeah, the sources are clear on this. A customer's idea of value is pretty much directly influenced by 3 things: price, quality, and convenience. I mean, we always talk about price and quality, right? They get all the headlines. But convenience, that's the silent partner that can honestly make or break the whole deal.
So, why is this such a big deal right now? Well, it's because our expectations as customers have just gone through the roof. We don't just settle anymore. We expect things to be easy, personalized, seamless. And because we expect that, when something isn't convenient, that lack of ease just feels so much more painful.
So let's think about those sacrifices we talked about in a different way. A really good word for them is friction. And friction, well, it's basically the enemy of value.
Okay, and here's a really crucial point. Every single business tracks monetary costs, right down to the penny. But how many businesses are actually tracking the friction costs? The time a customer wastes, the effort they have to put in, the stress they feel. These are all real costs that chip away directly from the value they feel they're getting.
And look, we've all been there. We all know exactly what friction feels like. It's that website you just can't figure out how to use. It's waiting on hold forever. It's a return policy that feels like it's written in another language. Each one of those moments adds to the sacrifice and makes a customer wonder, is this really worth it?
So if there's one thing to really get from this, it's this. Convenience is not just a nice little feature. It's not just about being user-friendly. It is an active, deliberate business strategy. It's about systematically hunting down every single one of those friction points in the customer's journey and just getting rid of them.
And that's really the goal here. The whole idea is to actively reduce your customer's burden. You guide them, you simplify their choices, you make the entire path to purchase as effortless as you possibly can. All right, so let's tie this all together. When you get rid of friction, you create convenience. That convenience boosts your value equity. And when you have strong value equity, you lift your total customer equity. You know, that ultimate asset we started this whole conversation with. And that is how you build a real, lasting competitive advantage.
So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. We live in a world of one-click ordering and same-day delivery. So, in a world that's already so on demand, what's the next frontier for convenience? What's the next point of friction that's just waiting to be eliminated? That's something to think about.